I always think that the people with green fingers, well, the experienced growers, always a treasure in the market. Understanding what happened in real time is very critical to schedule your irrigation. Well, apparently I disagree with this.
Hi everyone, I am Lasma from Aranet and welcome to our Smart Horticulture series. Today we will talk about the real challenges the growers face in the greenhouses nowadays. With me is Vincent today, who is a horticulture specialist and consultant, and he also works here in Aranet.
Hello everyone, nice to meet you.
What's really making life hard for growers today, where data and sensors genuinely help, and not just a nice gadget to have, but as actually practical tools. And when you have visited growers, can you tell me what are the top 3 problems you see again and again?
Well, recently I indeed visited lots of growers in the Netherlands and also in Latvia. What I heard most topics we talking together with them is about the energy price. The energy bill always interesting topics for them to keep eyes on. And also another one will be like temperature control and will be like irrigation control. And also maybe the fourth one, it can be the light control.
So Vincent, where do you think the biggest gap for growers is how they think the things are and what sensors actually show?
Well, I wouldn't say that is the biggest gap, but indeed it comes some questions or common topics about the irrigation control and energy use efficiency. So for example, if we're talking about irrigation control, then we probably know the drainage is a very big part of that, right? Some rule of thumbs give growers indication to set up the drainage with certain target during the day and night. And I still believe that sometimes makes sense to just follow this rule and give you a good reference to grow and control your irrigation. But the problem is that if you use that static drainage target setup, for example, it's not precisely enough to respond to the dynamic climate change. Because, in a greenhouse, every day is different. The climate condition also different, and irrigation should be changed correspondingly. Understanding what happened in the root zone in real time is very critical to schedule your irrigation. So in this circumstance, we believe that, for example, you use the soil sensors or you use the slab weight or weight scale. For example, these sensors can give you a more subjective reference to follow or to set up your irrigation strategy.
And do you have some recent example where monitoring and sensors have helped growers to improve their yields?
Well, the reason I won't say reason, but I do have the observations about the performance or the benefits which they get from the sensor usage. I think I can make example about what I observed in the light distribution. For example, most of greenhouse nowadays using the PAR sensor, and they are trying to find out some data from the PAR sensor to know how light distributes horizontally or vertically in the greenhouse. If they grow, like for example, tomatoes or cucumbers, is high wire crop, by knowing the light penetration performance is very important for the plant to grow more efficiently and to use light more efficiently. So eventually it will save more energy from your supplementary like artificial light, especially in the winter, because also in the winter there's a very intensive season to use energy, and also the energy bill will very expensive in that moment. So I think that is very useful for the client, and also is a very significant benefits they can get from the sensor usage.
And in your talk, you already mentioned several sensors. And are there some general guidelines that apply to all sensor usage? For example, if I would be a grower, I would want to measure something. Is it okay that I just put one sensor somewhere in the corner in the greenhouse, or I should take something more to think about?
I think that really depends on the situation you are and what kind of performance you want to achieve, right? I always say like one sensor is always meaningful, but if you, for example, want to know more, apparently you need more sensor, because one sensor in one time, in one place can only tell you one spot situation. But the greenhouse is a very comprehensive system, and which you can imagine have lots of deviations or fluctuations about the microclimate horizontally and vertically. So if you want to know more like comprehensive situation about the climate distribution within the greenhouse. So apparently you need more sensor in different spots. I think the difficult things for nowadays for many growers is probably they have a little bit difficulty to deploy the sensor in the optimal location, while to address the most optimal performance they want to achieve in the beginning. So I think from Aranet, from myself, what we can do for them is to help them analyze their situation in the beginning to find, because also in different season and different greenhouse, different crop have different scenarios, right? And based on the different scenario analyze, and we can give you like corresponding solutions and different type of sensors and different quantity of sensors to address our initial expectations.
So what I hear that timing is important and location is important. Can there be such thing as too many sensors?
No, I don't think we need too many sensors, because also too many sensors will give you too much data, which will make you feel a little bit overwhelmed when you're facing a lot of data sheets, right? And also you need to really find out what exactly is the relation between the data and data, parameter and parameter. That's the most important things in the beginning. So before we deploy or we make the data or the sensor selections and the quantity determinations, we need to know what kind of scenario you have or what kind of problems you want to address, right? Some sensor can be deployed for a long time, and some sensor can be deployed in a short time to draw up better pictures about the overall scenarios or overall conditions of the greenhouse, but it's not necessarily to fix on the specific spot in a long time. So I think if you say, maybe sometimes client is a little bit overwhelmed about too much sensors, then it's always we need to step back is to analyze, okay, what is you really want to achieve? And to elaborate the reason why you need this, why this quantity of sensors, and why this type of sensors can help you.
Yeah, how you can achieve the results using the right tools.
Exactly.
Let's talk about automatization versus experience. Nowadays we have all these smart tools, and would you say that growers' intuition is not needed anymore because we have all the data?
Well, apparently I disagree with this. But that is my personal feeling, and I believe I represent a large quantity of people. I always think that the people with green fingers, the experienced growers, always a treasure in the market nowadays. And the grower intuition is treasure because there are still lots of things like the plant, for example, plant sign and symptoms and root zone observations, still hardly replaceable by the machine or by the AI or by the, for example, camera, because human eyes in some areas are more perception than the machine or than the data. And also plant visit is still a very critical job for the growers every day. So by visiting the plants, you can see how does the plant really react. That doesn't mean like the grower intuition or experience is against with the AI or with the advanced technology. I think that is help with each other. Well, if you, for example, you can imagine one very experienced grower, and they have lots of, for example, like rule of thumbs, right? And by using these sensors, by using this data, they can have more precise perception about what exactly happened about the plants, and also to validate what is the performance of their feeling and what is the decision they made before. So I think that is a good cycle, a good loop.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing, this smart management can improve the scale of the greenhouses you can manage. It can also maybe accelerate the results, but intuition is still very needed and necessary in the field, like the experience.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, absolutely. The greenhouse horticulture is still a little bit intensive labor industry, right? So the experienced labor, experienced the growers can definitely maximize your decisions performance. You have the data, but again, you need people to put the sensor in right location. That needs experience.
It's also like to translate the data and understand it, yes. So to summarize today's talk, if you think smart horticulture, what is it in one sentence?
Well, interesting question. If I have to put it in one sentence, I would like to say it will be optimizing the energy input without compromising yield and quality.
Vincent, thank you for your view of what's happening in the greenhouses today. In the next episode, we will go deeper in one of the more critical topics we looked on today. And if you have some specific questions you feel you want us to explore in the future episodes, please let us know in the comments.
Thank you for having me today, and love to see you all guys next time.